On this episode of Infowars News Blitz, Ryan and Priebus plan to extort Trump at RNC. The GOP lawyers are gunning for Trump, and a Zika outbreak at the Rio Games could ignite global martial law. That and a lot more, so stay tuned. For the week of May the 16th, 2016, this is the first I'm going to hear, and it's written by Paul Joseph Watson. The title is called Roger Stone, Paul, Ryan, and Priebus plan to extort Trump at RNC. Underneath it says, establishment, GOP establishment is still scheming to steal nomination from populist New York frontrunner, and it was written by Paul Joseph Watson. Donald Trump's campaign Confederate confidant Roger Stone warned that Speaker of the House Paul Ryan and the ANC Chairman Ryan Priebus are planning to extort Trump at the RNC after Ryan refused to endorse the presumptuous Republican nominee. During an interview with NBC's Meet the Press on Sunday, Trump said that he would not rule out an attempt to remove Ryan from his role at the convention, vowing consequences if the former Wisconsin congressman continues to withhold his support. I will give you a very solid answer if that happens. About a minute after that happens, okay? Mr. Trump said, there is no reason to give it right now, but I'll be quick with the answer. After initially indicating that he was opposed to Trump's candidacy on several occasions, Ryan Priebus appeared clarity after Trump's success in Indiana, tweeting that it was time to unite the GOP behind an effort to defeat Hillary Clinton, even though they want Hillary Clinton to be in power. Underneath, as the article goes on here, it says, during an interview with CNN's Jake Tapper last week, Ryan said he was not ready to back Trump. Ryan and Trump are set to meet privately in Washington on Tuesday, and folks, I have a news report. That didn't go over well. Meanwhile, Sarah Palin, who is one of the contenders is to become Trump's running mate, has promised to defeat Ryan by backing his primary opponent in Wisconsin. So yeah, folks, as you said, the meeting didn't go as well, and they're still trying to steal it from Trump. I mean, as I said before in my previous videos, it's more like God saying basically, hey man, I'll give you out. Before I let these pack of demons run all over you, I'm going to give you a choice to save yourselves. And here's the choice you got right here. Either Trump or nobody. However, if you don't go with Trump and you go with somebody else, like Hillary Clinton, then I'm just going to let all these demons just run all over you. And when you try to ask me for help, I'm going to say, hey, I already did try to help you. You didn't want Trump, you wanted this demonic witch. So there, you get to have your demonic witch. Don't say you won't be warned. You won't be warned, because I did. That's basically what God's saying. But anyway, enough about that. Oops, sorry about that. Onward to say, it's an article written by Roger Stone himself, and it's an Infowars exclusive. Establishment Unbound, GOP lawyers are gunning for Trump. Oh yeah, underneath it says, the Trump juggernaut must be ready for this assault. I hope we have not convinced our pro-Trump Stop the Steal rally to a unity and victory rally in Cleveland July 18th too soon. A motion to unbind all delegates, along with many other underhanded strategies, is being discussed by the elite of the Republican legal establishment with the permission, if it is not instructed, of the Speaker Paul Ryan. Bitter offenses of Ted Cruz even mailed voters for Virginia County conservatives in an attempt to grab delegates. I'll just go read whatever here because we're kind of like short on time here. Last week, the annual conference of the Republican National Lawyers Association was held with some 250 attorneys in attendance. The main topic of discussion is how to steal the GOP nomination from and present with nominee Donald Trump as a Republican nomination. The RNLA is technically a separate entity of the RNC, although it is made of an elite establishment of two senators who are attorneys representing special interests. At their recent meeting, the phrase "Never Trump" was bantered about in hushed tones, quite particularly after Trump lawyer Don McGurn left after a perfunctory short remarks. The doors were closed and locked after McGurn left. Basically, folks, and you can read the article from here. It's a pretty lengthy article, but they are trying to steal this from Trump, and they're not going to stop. They're trying to figure out a way to do this. And we must catch them and catch them with the pants on and tell them, hey, you're not going to do this trap, alright? Okay, folks, this is the last article here, and it's an article by Kip Daniels. The article is titled, Zika Outbreak at Rio Olympics Could Ignite Global Martial Law. Are the elite intentionally using the Olympics to spread Zika worldwide? And it was written by Kip Daniels. Zika, which bioterrorism expert Dr. Francis A. Boyle described as a souped-up bioweapon, could spread to thousands of international tourists visiting upon the Rio de Janeiro Olympics and lead to martial law scenarios across the world. Zika is rapidly spread through Rio de Janeiro, with scientists baffled by this new, different, and vastly dangerous strain that overwhelmed the Brazilian military efforts to contain the disease. Yet both international Olympic committees and the health organization are severely downplaying the risk of Zika because they don't want nobody to find out. In particular, Obama's orders allow for the detainment of Americans who display symptoms of severe respiratory symptoms, which are diseases that are associated with fever, signs and symptoms of pneumonia or other respiratory illnesses, are capable of being transmitted from person to person, and that is either causing or has been potentially caused pandemic, or upon infection are highest likely to cause material or serious mobility if not properly controlled. Sport fans who are wealthy enough to visit Rio's games, there we go, but are choose Zika's risk for themselves. But when some of them who return home infected, these fellow citizens could bear the risk too, meaning that they could be an upside for the elite, but a downside for the masses. Basically, yes. And it also worth pointing out that the international professor Francis A. Boyle, who drafted the Biological Weapons and Anti-Terrorism Act of 1990, revealed that Zika was a virus souped up as a bioweapon by world government and non-government organizations during a July 29 article on Indiana Jones. So, basically, folks, that's what this is. And here is Andy Gutierrez about that.
Well, right now you got Brazil. It's completely overwhelmed by this pandemic, Zika. You got the military that's completely mobilized. They can't stop the mosquitoes. They're doing everything they can to stop the mosquitoes. So now you got this whole city, Rio de Janeiro, I believe is how you pronounce it. You know, you got people that are dying left and right. They're completely infected, and yet you got these Olympics that are coming into town. And one thing I want to point out is that government, they always expand by using a crises like this. So, as long as people see government as the solution, politicians can always sell whatever solution they want to the public to get what they want to expand the size and scope of the government. And so when it comes to Zika, let's say, for example, Zika's, completely overblown. It's not that big a deal. It's not as big of a deal as, say, Ebola.
Right.
You can still have the government over-exaggerate the threat of Zika to, get more bigger budgets, like the CDC, for example. They love this kind of stuff because it gives them an excuse to go to Congress and say, we got to have bigger budgets. We got to have, more equipment, whatnot, more power.
It's a great motivator.
Yeah.
Full-on fear is a great motivator. It was declared a World Health emergency by the World Health Organization. The number of suspected cases in Rio is the highest of any state in the country. And I've been looking into this, and quite frankly, there's no, it's anyone's guess if it's actually this bad, honestly, is the conclusion I've come to. But to postpone or move the Rio Olympic Games and say there could be a full-blown global health crisis, basically what you're saying is it doesn't even matter if that's true. The key is that overblowing it for beneficial gain in a very corrupt way that doesn't care about public health is the primary concern.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Talk a little bit more about that.
That's the flip side. It's like, let's say that they're not trying to exploit the crisis, or they're not trying to kill people by letting people get infected by Zika. You still got the angle in which you have government and politicians that are putting public health at risk in order to make money at the Olympics. So that's a completely different angle, but still a very credible angle. And another thing that really scares me about this, Anthony, is like, unlike the Ebola crisis, the alternative media were not reporting on something that the mainstream media is not picking up first. Instead, what we're doing right now is we're reporting on what these Harvard Review scientists are reporting that the mainstream media already picked up on. I just went with a slightly different angle about it. And I saw this one thing in the Harvard Review that I even missed this morning when I wrote my article. It says, while Brazil's Zika inevitably will spread globally, given enough time, viruses always do, it helps nobody to speed that up. So, and then you had the World Health Organization, when the Zika virus was spreading, like I think in October, they went to Switzerland and said, this is a big deal. We got to find a cure for this. But now they won't even release a statement about Zika's impact on Olympic Games. That's really scary. And it's also really scary when you got Harvard scientists, which is like the top of the establishment, breaking away and saying, hey, what's going on here? Why? Yeah, exactly.
And it is a key point, and it does remind me what I'm going to talk about in the next segment. We're also going to play your video that kind of relates to this.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gucciardi. Basically, folks, and here's the video here. Basically, folks, that's what this is. I mean, and I hate to say it, too. Something's very fishy going on here. I mean, the thing was released in Brazil, and from what I can remember, Dr. Boyle kind of says basically this is all because the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation was kicked out of Brazil. If I can remember that correctly. If I'm not, then please correct me, alright? Well, that's all the articles I have for you today. If you'd like to read more about the articles, please go to links below or go to Infowars.com or PittsburghCom.com. You can find hundreds of articles. That's one I have for you today. This is the Infowars News Blitz. I'm Info Gundam. Live from Feed Number 3. Please like, subscribe, and donate. Bye-bye.